The world of roller hockey is super complicated and confusing for no reason. And I get tons and tons of frequently asked questions, both in my program and at tournaments, asking me to simplify or describe different parts of the roller hockey world. This video series is a way to explain all the different components of roller hockey around the world and try to simplify the industry as a whole. The first question that I'd like to ask in this video series is the most obvious. What is roller hockey? So let's just start right there. Roller, or inline hockey, is a significantly modified version of ice hockey, where the main changes are that it's played 4-on-4 instead of 5-on-5. It is played on multiple different kinds of surfaces, anywhere from plastic tile to a wooden surface, even an asphalt or concrete-like surface on the street, whereas ice hockey is just played on ice. Players typically wear a lot less gear in the sport of roller hockey. Most notably, we don't wear shoulder pads. Our hip pads are much thinner. Instead of a sock and shell combo, we wear full-length Cooperall pants. Obviously, we wear inline skates instead of ice hockey skates. Now, I do like to comment that it is an inline skate, meaning that the term inline comes from the wheels being in a line, contradictory to quad skates, or what rink hockey plays on, or roller derby, where they have skates that have 2 wheels in the front and 2 wheels in the back in a square formation. Another big difference is that in adult rec league divisions, most North Americans opt to wear no face protection whatsoever in the sport of roller hockey, whereas in ice hockey, 99% of places require you to wear something in front of your face, whether it's a visor or something like that. Roller hockey does not have this. Roller hockey also has no icing, no offsides, and no full-on contact, and I'll explain more on that later. Where can you play? There are many places and opportunities to play roller hockey. This includes fully indoor tiled rinks around the world, indoor non-tiled rinks, outdoor tiled rinks, outdoor non-tiled rinks. Outdoor non-tiled rinks are definitely the most common, and more than likely, if you live in the United States or Canada, there is one within some driving distance to you, unless you're maybe in the Northwest. As really there's a lack of them. A map of all outdoor rinks in North America can actually be found in the description of this video in the Good Roller Rink map. For these outdoor rinks, a majority of them, there is no formal organization playing out of them. Some of them have it, but you might be able to find a Facebook group or something similar to find other people in your area that might use that rink or a rink nearby to play a pickup game once a week or something along those lines. A lot of rinks have things like this. For indoor rinks, 99.9% of the time, they will have a website or a Google listing where you can find out more about their recreational leagues or tournaments or stick times or things like that for opportunities for you to be able to play there. If you're willing to travel and challenge yourself, there are boatloads of tournaments around the world for you to play in. There will be another video in this video series describing all the different kinds of tournaments that you can play in the world of roller hockey. And what they all mean and where they come from. Most of them are listed on Roller Dad News' events tab, which is probably the most complete list of tournaments there are out there, at least for North America. Just like any other sport, you can take it as casually or as seriously as you'd like. Skill ranges go all the way from men's bronze and club and recreational leagues, all the way up to the professional level, where there are professional leagues in places like France and Italy and Spain, where you can make a salary and get paid to play the sport of roller hockey at a high level in front of fans and in stadiums and things like that. But there will be another video describing all the nuances of that, as well as all the different skill divisions ranging from men's bronze all the way to pro. The style of play. Roller hockey, just like any other sport, at the beginner levels has no system structure. If you can imagine a bunch of 6-year-olds trying to play soccer where they just all swarm the ball, it's the same at the lowest levels of roller hockey. Just when you get into higher skill levels and tournaments, roller hockey is more similarly played to basketball than it is to ice hockey. On ice, because of offsides, the game is typically segmented to one portion of the rink, whether it's in the offensive zone, the neutral zone, or the defensive zone. Most of the time, most of the players on the ice are in one of those 3 sections. Whereas in roller hockey, because of the no offsides and no icing, players are all over the rink all of the time. And that doesn't mean that it's necessarily more chaotic, or that the first question I usually get asked is, well, is one guy just going to stand in front of the net the whole time? No. That's a terrible plan. You're basically just handicapping your team if you do that. And it just invites a more open, flowy, creative game than maybe ice hockey provides. We like to make the comparison of basketball and roller hockey because there's a lot more setting picks, pick and rolls, things like that, and basketball style plays that are done versus the way that ice hockey is played, which is more zone based. Where you're located will also typically dictate how the game is played. In North America, the higher levels you go, the more you will see what we call the possession game, where this is a style of play where a team will try and hold the puck as long as they can and try and pick their specific perfect moment to run up the rink and make a rush. And at the higher levels you go, the less of these opportunities they decide to actually push upon, because it is really a possession game. When you go to Europe, they definitely play a more north-south game. Now, when you watch the two, like if you were to put a European game versus a North American pro game, it's hard to tell watching them because European games have much smaller rinks. It doesn't feel like they're going north and south so much. Whereas in a North American rink, which is significantly larger, you would feel it more if you were to be playing a run and gun north and south style game. However, if you are to put them side by side at the highest levels of the sport, Europe is typically more north and south, and North America is definitely typically more possession. As an ice hockey player, what should you expect getting into the world of roller hockey? If you're a pure ice hockey player looking to make the transition to roller, the number one thing you should expect is to be frustrated. I'll tell you why. Your entire ice career, more than likely, you have been drilled into your head that you think roller is inferior, easier, the redheaded stepchild of a sport to ice hockey. And you're going to get into your first game or your first session, and you're going to realize that stick handling is a lot harder. Skating is 100 times harder. And it's just a completely different game being played. Now, as a sport overall, I'm not going to sit here and say that roller hockey is harder or ice hockey is harder. They're just different sports. It would be like taking a baseball player and throwing him into the middle of a volleyball game and saying, well, this is harder, this is easier. It's just different. It is a different sport. It has different skills and different strategies, and a lot of ice hockey players are not taught that. And so they go into their first game, they get super frustrated because everyone's walking all around them, and they quit. I can't tell you how many times I've played against an NHL player who comes over for their first or second skate, plays in the tournament, and he's the worst player in the event. I mean, it happens over and over and over again. I'm not going to single anybody out, but it really is almost every single time I play against an NHL guy, he's the worst skater on the rink. Don't get frustrated. It's just a different sport. And if you go into the game with that mindset, then you're going to love it. My number one piece of advice is just give it a little bit of time. Don't quit after your first week or your first event. Give it a month, skate a couple of hours, do it with your friends, and I promise after 3 or 4 months that you'll be more than caught up and you'll be able to play with the rest of them. There is so much more to learn about the sport of roller hockey, but those are the basics. To learn more about this beautiful, beautiful game that we have poured so much time and effort into, please watch all the videos in this series. In the description, you will find a Google document with tons of resources to help you in your path. And of course, thank you to my sponsors, Alkali Hockey, Lebeda Hockey, Smack Attack, Tier, and Good Roller.